I, that song really brings back a lot of memories. I was not a Journey fan. I was not. They came out with some good records. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They came out with some fine pop records. They had a knack for coming out with rocking pop records, ballads. I mean, they were extremely popular. It became popular in the late 70s. The Lights in the City. That was I remember that was among their early hits back in 1978. Although they didn't make top 40. And then there was Love and Touch and Squeezing, which went to number 11 or number 15 on Billboard's Hot 100 in the summer of 1979. Of course, the hit records started to follow in the 80s. Beyond that, and I just never was a fan, though, not a real big fan of Journey. But now, by the 90s, I started to miss Journey for some reason. Steve Perry was one of the most looking back on it, Steve Perry was one of the most awesome vocalists who ever came out. John Bon Jovi himself called Steve Perry the voice. Steve Perry had that classic blue-eyed soul voice. When he released his first solo album, when he came out with Oh Sherry, when he sang it out, I mean, he was, well, I wouldn't put him up there with Otis Redding, but boy, he was getting up there in that stratosphere. He just, it's classic blue-eyed soul singing, which makes me appreciate Steve Perry a lot more now than I did back then. Steve Perry, You Better Wait on my fantasy playlist. It's from the album For the Love of Strange Medicine, I believe the name of the album. It debuts at number 35 on my fantasy playlist of July 24th, 1994. And I tell you, I remember listening to this song on Muzak. Yes, Hitline. Muzak's top 40 outlet Hitline. I'd listen to it at nights, just sitting there, just falling in love with this record, just immersing myself in the power of Steve Perry's bluesy vocals. I mean, I listened to the video, I watched the video on YouTube a little bit, listening to it on YouTube while I was doing research. And I felt this surge of electricity, goosebumps just rising right up my spine listening to this record. This guy was a powerful vocalist. It would be a shame for Steve Perry to be an underrated vocalist. Let me read you a few of the lyrics of this powerful record. You Better Wait. This really just, I mean, he sings straight to the heart, from the heart to the heart. It's not a brain thing. It's not an intellectual thing. She was only a child, someone to hold on, only a child, someone to believe in, only a child, someone to love. She was 17, beauty queen. I met her in a magazine, Heart of Fire, Love's Desire, reaching out higher, higher, run away, one more day, a broken-hearted child at play. I pray for you, baby blue. In the name of love, I reach for you, and the darkness comes the evil of the night. Think about it. Oh my goodness. You got you got a powerful set of lyrics. You match that with Steve Perry's voice, and boy, you got yourself a record right there. Although it only got as high as number 29 on Billboard's Hot 100. That's it. Should have been higher. But Journey kind of lost momentum in the 90s. Actually, Steve Perry had left Journey, at least temporarily, when he came out with his solo album in 1994. But here's the deal: Journey reunited in 1996, and they put out an album called Trial by Fire, which did very well for them. As a matter of fact, they were getting pumped up. They were primed to go on a world tour to promote this album. When Steve Perry, he was going hiking. He was hiking in Hawaii when he suffered a hip injury. Turned out that he had a degenerative hip condition, a disease. Bottom line, he required replacement hip surgery, and he put it off. And he put off going on tour. This went on for months and months and months. And it got to the point where the group was like, the window of opportunity is closing. The window of opportunity to promote this album, to ride on the success of this comeback album, it's closing. It's closing fast. And so they got together with Steve Perry. They said, "Look, you got to do this hip replacement surgery because we got to do this tour." we're gonna lose momentum if we don't do this tour to promote this album. Man, it's been almost 2 years, a year and a half. And Steve Perry was like, look, you guys are being intractable. You guys just stay out of my personal health decision. I quit. And the guys were like, you either get the hip replacement surgery or we're going to get a new lead singer. Steve Perry he left. He did get that hip replacement surgery done in 1998. Well, that was quite a story right there. Gosh, dog it. It still gets me. 22 years later, this song still gets me. Steve Perry's just had, gosh dog it. You know something, I underrated Journey. I really did. They're not the Beatles. Oh, no, no. They're not the Beatles. They're not the Stones. They're not Led Zeppelin. But they were a damn good rock band. Steve Perry, one of the best vocalists ever. You Better Wait, debuting at number 35 on my fantasy playlist July 24th, 1994.